Speaking of AI, see, here's a question I want to ask all three of you. I feel like this is interesting. It kind of leads into AI, but do you guys think that like by the time that I'm about to die, whether that's in 5 years in World War III or when I'm 80, we're going to be eating bugs and living in pods?
Yeah, where do we see the future going? I don't know, man. I'm pretty worried about a lot of it because I think I see even how much I am on my phone, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people say like, "Oh, I'm never putting the chip in my head. I'm never putting my chip in the chip in my head." But like, the chip is in your hand at all times, and you're freaking in it at all times anyway. I'm worried of how much control our phones have over us and how easily we're all swayed by things and not living in the real world. Part of me almost hopes that there is some kind of cyber pandemic and the whole freaking grid goes down and we just go back, revert.
It's like I ask this question oftentimes when I'm talking to dudes, but it's like if you knew that there was like a warehouse, right? And you knew in the warehouse somehow, right, all of the connections, all the hoverboards, if you will, of all of the impure websites were inside of this shed, right, on these hoverboards. And you could go in there with the baseball bat and destroy it all, and it would just be gone forever, right? Would you do it? I think I know your guys' answer, but would you do it?
Wait, what was the question?
Just the bad websites?
Or all let's just say all impure websites.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense, right? But then I take it to a step further and I'm like, okay, if you actually could though, like go in, let's just say like push a button or smash up a monitor, if you will, that had just the internet, if you will, on it.
Yeah.
You'd wipe out the internet. Would you do it?
It's a tricky question because look, we have a lot of modern comforts, but if you knock out the internet, you're killing.
Welcome back to the 80s.
No, dude, welcome back to the Stone Age. Everything is dependent upon the internet. Everything, every delivery system, everything is dependent on the internet completely. So if you knock that out, that's almost like dropping an atomic bomb.
But see, here's the thing.
Morally, it's entirely different.
Yeah, see, that's my question. So it's like in my question, it's the whole internet, the good, the bad, the ugly. It all goes away, or yet it all stays. What would you do?
I mean, if I'm going to go back, I want to go back to before the printing press. I think the printing press was the end of everything.
Before automobiles, before women could drive.
Yeah, no, but seriously, think about what I'm saying here. I
get rid of the internet 110%. Because now here would be the sucky thing. I would be like, if it was just down tomorrow, I'd be like, dang, I can't like talk with Anthony and Rob. I gotta like go take a pilgrimage to New York and find Anthony.
No, guys, there is no avoiding Babylon pilgrimage. No.
There's not an official one yet.
It's not that. He said, like, how do you'd never see each other again.
Yeah, like because that would just destroy it all. So that would be like the biggest sucky part. Because as we all agree, I think the best part of the internet is stuff like this. This is amazing. Yeah. But then it's like, okay, does this outweigh all of the garbage, not just the impure stuff, but then just like, let's be honest, so much of the black pilling is because people are on their phones exposing themselves to crazy stuff, as opposed to actually just like going out and hanging out in their community and just having a good time and chilling. And
I agree with Nick for two reasons. Number one, I think human beings have an incredible ability to adapt. Like we did adapt to the internet, we can adapt away from it. We'd all just go back to the 80s, like he said. I think the second reason is because I know for a fact that what it's done, TikTok brain, porn brain, all that stuff, it's almost impossible to get people to even commit, if not just stay focused on mental prayer, if the internet exists. It's really taking people away from that.
Victim number one right there.
And everybody is. TikTok brain. I will say this too as well, and I fell victim of this when I was posting on Instagram. This Lent has been so crucial for me. I'm actually thinking about, and I know you guys talking about this, I'm doing a novena, a 54-day rosary novena, of whether I want to just give it all up and just cancel everything. Like, this would be my last song, and it's like, this is great. But the reason is because I found myself before this, that when I would read like a church father or a desert father, hey Todd, what's up, brother? I would read a church father or a desert father, it wouldn't be so much for me to apply this in my life. It'd be like, oh, I got this jewel. I'll be posted on Twitter.
Dude, it's really dangerous, man.
That's the dangerous part, because then your spirituality becomes based on what you post and what you're. So
much of what we do is virtue signal, man. All of us, every one of us, it's just so much of a virtue signal. It's like. Right. It's like you start reading a book. It's like, oh, let me post a quote that I got from the book to show everybody how.
Rather than applying it to your personal life and become.
Did you just subtweet me, Anthony?
It's just what
last week. That's what I was doing.
Like, no, but Rob, I do it too. I'm not at all. Like, this is what we do, right? So, it's not just TikTok brain; it's Twitter brain. Yeah. Like you almost. I'm telling you, man. Like, I have a hard time sitting down in my bed at night and reading a real book. Like, I could read the book on my iPad and like I'll read it for a little bit and then I get distracted. I have severe Twitter brain, and I actually confess this. And I was talking to my priest about this. Just like I think about all of the uncharitable things I say on Twitter, just trying to be a wise ass and being funny. And I wound up having to block a bunch of people because I found every single thing was just this combative interaction. I hate being combative on Twitter. I like being like a little bit of a wise ass, but I just found so many of my interactions were uncharitable, and I found that I'm just constantly scrolling. I really need to do a detox. Somebody asked the question, how do we I see you started, Rob.
Yeah.
How do we reconcile our hatred for the internet and the fact that you have an internet show?
I don't inherently hate the internet. I hate what it's become, and granted, I think it was probably always going to become that just due to fallen human nature. So I don't hate the internet, but I guess I would say I acknowledge what it is, and I acknowledge the bad it does, but I also acknowledge the good it can do, and try to.
And we're trying to bring a little bit of good to it, right? So, like, bringing content out there is, look, everybody's starving for content, so we're trying to bring something positive to that content space because there's so much trash out there. So, I mean, I think that's how I would.
But if even if this were to become like an actual daily job, like main source of income, I would still say losing the internet would probably be worth losing this show too.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think maybe the best way of saying it is like, you don't hate the internet in and of itself, but you can hate the negative effects, and the negative effects are multiple, from Twitter brain, impurity, and I just find, like, especially, you see people talking about this about TikTok quite a bit, the effect that it has on just critical thinking. Critical thinking skills have gone down. Like yesterday when I went through President Biden's basically address, making today trans day, etc., I basically walked away from this. I told my mom and dad, I said, the big feeling I got reading this was written for a group of people who do not even know what words mean anymore. Yeah. Right. It's the most poorly written gobbledygook you ever read, right? If you want to see like really sarcastic Nick for 30 minutes, just go and watch that video. It's actually kind of funny. But that's the point. Like, we've become a society where we don't even know what words mean anymore. We can't even do basic critical thinking.
But part of the problem here is this whole the day of visibility thing. The internet is the cause of it. Okay, so these kids, dude, you're talking about people in like rural Mississippi, and they're dealing with this stuff in their schools because kids are finding this stuff on TikTok and then they're being influenced. But there's not even a place you could go to get away from it and seclude yourself from it because of the internet. It's such a strange time we're in, where it doesn't matter where you live because of the internet, all the information that's connected and the things that people are catching in their algorithms. Like we've talked about it before, where people think the like Terminator 2 scenario comes down and you think that one day the machines are going to take over. That's not what's going to happen. What it is the algorithms are going to warp the human mind so much that you wind up getting attacks like the Texas Uvalde thing, where that girl is watching videos all the time. She gets convinced that Christians are evil because they're against her ideology, and she goes and takes it out on Christians.
Nashville, not Uvalde.
Okay,
Hold on. Did you see this, Anthony?
Yeah, I actually have the clip. You want it?
Oh, yeah, send it to me.
I'll send you the clip.
Hold on, before we continue.